I suppose really this is a bit of my Olympic Games, I suppose really, because everything that I'm aiming for has got to be 2012 as well. What I would say with it is it's actually got me the security over the 600 jobs I had within the workforce in the local authority waste disposal company. And that's something which, working with the unions, we wanted to maintain. It's also created another 100 jobs on top of that, so we're actually going to work forward. And those have all been upskilled to some stage, so the whole benefit has rolled forward. What it's also provided across Greater Manchester is an input to the number of jobs that we've got. We've got at least 850 jobs at the moment on the go, and that will maintain itself for 3 years. And that, when you have a look at the manufacturing side and everything behind it, it's actually created over 5,000 jobs in the construction industry, which, like the rest of you, was fairly quiet, to put it the mild way. What are we building? 25 household waste recycling centres. 17 are really major refurbishments, with a couple of new ones within that, and then 7 are actually maintained. That is the front face. That is what the public are seeing. That's what they're responding to, and that's where they're seeing the investment go. And on a survey we just did recently, 96.5%, I think it was satisfied that the improvements were there and it was working better for us. It's not just an improvement in the site, it's an improvement in the staff and everything that went with it. It has worked very, very well. Transfer loading stations. Well, we maintain a proximity principle. We don't want collection vehicles running any further than what they had to before, so we've got transfer loading. It also allows me to take things straight to market, also actually major facilities, so we can get the benefit out of the system that we've got. Mechanical biological treatment plants. I'm not going to get into the techo because that's not here for today. Quite seriously, that's the way that Germany had gone and various other places when you actually look at diverting biodegradable waste. It was deliverable in Greater Manchester, and we're able to deliver it, and they've got anaerobic digestion plants attached to them so they can strip off the methane. Therefore, basically, they actually don't use any energy themselves. We export it to the grid from those plants. I've got to deal with food waste and other items, so what we've got in there is actually 4 vessel composting plants, which again allow the proximity principle to run for me to actually make sure that vehicles aren't running too far. When I was doing site acquisitions, to put a plant 5 miles away from where I actually could get one into core would have actually probably cost me about £4.5 million extra over the life of the contract, just in fuel costs and in crew time. So it was the whole of the thing that we needed to actually make sure. And we've got a fair, I would call equitable distribution across Greater Manchester. We have got 9 planning authorities to deal with, and I can assure you that took probably a lot of the last 5 years, is to make sure that the planners knew what they were doing, the members knew what they were getting, well before we actually went anywhere near applying for planning permissions. We took them to see, we worked with DEFRA very closely on this, took them to see the technologies. They could actually go back to the electorate to actually say they've seen it, they know what it's like. The planning officers knew what was coming. Everybody, even Friends of the Earth, came along with us. We made sure the whole of the process was there. Because I can't say communicate enough, but it certainly works. Runcorn itself, as I said, we actually went out early in the process to actually test out the SRF market, solid recovered fuel, for those people who don't know, which is what we're creating out of the waste that's residual. And we found that really within the energy market we had a number of people who either used a lot of energy or wanted to get into the energy market or were already in it, who wanted to change their energy policies. We were fortunate that one of those companies, amongst quite a number of others as well, eventually linked up with the bidders and the winning bidder, and the final facility there is to actually change from gas over to using solid recovered fuel to provide combined heat and energy for me. The plant itself, we're doing phase 1 with the anchor as far as we're concerned. Phase 2 can be a merchant facility or development there afterwards, but it's not part of our programme going forward. But quite clearly what we've done is we've secured something that actually meets our time frame. They'd already applied for planning permission before the actual contract was awarded, so they were in the same game as a number of other people. But it certainly works, and it's part of an industrial landscape. What I would say with councils is in the future maybe that should be nearer home. but I didn't have the infrastructure in Greater Manchester to be able to use the combined heat and power. That's something we are now planning for the future, and maybe the next generation of these to come will actually meet that as we're going forward. Contract time frame, not short. Let's put it like that. The strategy had to be developed first, and that was between 2000 and 2003. Consultation with 1 million homes and actually getting 9 councils to agree with the strategy was the first major thing. But as you can see from there, the process ran on, and then eventually we got to a stage where, as far as we were concerned, we actually took ready to close, and that was April 2008. Everything had been agreed, and really we were there. But unfortunately, it took us a year to actually get through the funding process. And it was a bit of a, really, a year where it was really talking to the banks and the financial sides. But in the meantime, we had to make sure that as far as an officer was concerned, we did keep the elected members confirmed with regards to everything we were doing. We worked with the sponsors, making sure the funding was there. It really was a lot of tested partnerships, working with them, if you want to use that word, but we wanted to make sure it was going to get delivered, but it was up to them to deliver it, and maintaining the nerve. The same technical solution was there. We had to maintain the same technical solution when a lot of our supply chain as well was working in Malta, Greece, France, various other places. They need to have the confidence that we were still going to deliver this programme. You know, we were part of their, if you want to say, 5-year plan, and we had to maintain a lot of that as we were going.